Hi everyone, thank you for dropping into TNT to check on this story. It's a bit of an overview of what happened with the protests on Saturday. Now, these protests were planned all last week, basically in reaction to that telephone conversation, the leaked private telephone conversation between the Thai Prime Minister and the former Prime Minister and current Senate leader in Cambodia, Hun Sen. Much has been written about it, much has been said on social media. People have taken their place of where they see themselves with that issue, but the protests went ahead. Let's have a look. And let's just do a bit of a numbers count. Cowsod English, there were about 1,000 protesters. A little bit later, there were 10,000 demonstrators shortly before 3 p.m. And it noted that the majority of the demonstrators appeared to be 50 or older. More about that later. More numbers, they said, there was about 10,000 strong at about 3:40 p.m. Then just an hour later, there were 20,000 demonstrators. Other media weren't quite so enthusiastic about the numbers. Bangkok Post reporting about 6,000 protesters, and they stuck to that number with their next story, saying police estimated the crowd at 6,000 people. Thai PBS World, they couldn't quite make up their mind. They took the route of least resistance, thousands of anti-government demonstrators. And having been to many protests in my time from the inside and then covering them from the outside for various media, 6,000 sounds about right. I think at the end of the day you need to trust the police count rather than the different protest groups who are always going to throw in a few extra thousand. And the question would need to be asked, how many of these are what we describe as professional protesters? The people that will just go to any protest because, well, it seems like a good idea at the time. I was also going to add that I went to the Thai Rat Facebook page, one of the most popular Thai language media, and they had around about 100 stories posted on their Facebook page on Saturday. They covered the protest, but maybe only 4 stories out of 100 were featuring the protest at the Victory Monument, and they didn't mention any crowd numbers at all. Now let's go to today's coverage as we sort of wash up what happened. We can start with the Bangkok Post, and a great photo there from the Bangkok Post showing the extent of the crowd. And anti-government demonstrators have vowed to ramp up their calls demanding the resignation of PM Paetongtarn Shinawatra, while denying accusations from the Per Thai Party and the People's Party, formerly the Move Forward Party, that they're calling for a military coup. The protest is led by the United Power of the Land to Protect Sovereignty group. Now, this isn't an organised political party, this is more like a protest or lobbying group, made up mostly of people, as the Bangkok Post said earlier, of people over the age of 50, and mostly people who you describe as loyalists or royalists. In the past they would have been yellow shirts, but certainly these are the people that would like to see a more conservative government running Thailand. And they made the vow following an unexpectedly large turnout for the rally. Yes, the organisers and most political parties have recognised that the turnout was more than people expected. And the Bangkok Post reminds us that the rally was held to pressure Ms Paetongtarn to step down over the leaked audio clip of her conversation with Cambodian Senate President Hun Sen. At the end of the rally, organisers called on demonstrators to regroup at the Chamai Maruchet Bridge. Protesters are encouraged to join forces with the network of students and people for reform of Thailand. Now, it was that network of students, secondary and tertiary students, young professional Thais, who formed the body of those protests back in 2020 and 2021, which were calling for reforms to the constitution and the monarchy at the time. They are at the complete political opposite of the people who were calling for changes at the protest on Saturday. Don't think they're going to be getting along very well. And a bit more about Saturday's organisers. The group is opposed to government plans to set up casinos, the Land Bridge mega project. I suspect that was never going to happen anyway. And the proposed 99-year lease scheme to foreign nationals. Yes, the coalition government did propose earlier this year to extend the current maximum 30-year land lease to foreigners up to 99 years, but we haven't heard any more of that since. It's also called for the drafting of a new constitution by the people, independent of any state-appointed constitution drafting assembly. Yeah, let's meet up at Starbucks and just draw up a new constitution. Who are some of the people behind the protests? Pitchit Chaimongkon, one of the group's leaders, said the protesters are being unfairly accused by both the government and the opposition parties of supporting a coup. Unfortunately, there were some of the speakers on Saturday who were of the opinion that they'd rather have a military coup, or the military running the country, than an elected government, which always seems to end up much more progressive. And then down the bottom there, protest leader Sondai Limtongkun said he did not want to see the situation deteriorate, but he won't object if the military does something. Now, Sondai in Thailand would come under the heading of a professional protester over the years, a leader of the Yellow Shirts back in the 2000s, and he led the protest, the airport closure at Suvarnabhumi Airport, a sit-in which lasted for a week. That nearly closed Thailand down. And the Saturday rally concluded with a pledge by Jataporn Prompan, a former Red Shirt leader, saying there'd be more to come if Thaksin's daughter clings to power. So for the ruling coalition, and the Prime Minister more specifically, they are still running the country here on Monday. Now, she's got more problems probably with the Constitutional Court, where a formal complaint's been lodged about that leaked telephone call with Hun Sen. But let's just have a look at a poll that was taken last week. I wonder how that turned out. Nation Thailand reporting Paetongtarn's popularity plunges to 9.2%. Now, this is a NIDA poll, professionally run and well regarded, and the headline there, Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra and her ruling Pheu Thai party have seen a sharp decline in popularity in the second NIDA poll survey for the second quarter of this year compared to the first quarter, and it was conducted between June 19 and 25, and it found Paetongtarn's approval rating had dropped to just over 9%, down from nearly 31% in the last quarter. Now, checking in orders, the winner of that poll for the most popular choice for Prime Minister, Natapong, who's the leader of the People's Party, 31.5%, up from some 26%. People saying there's no suitable candidate around, at around 20%. Prayut Chan-o-cha, who's the former Prime Minister, now appointed by His Majesty to a member of the Privy Council, he got 12.7%. Anaton Sharvidakun from the Bumchai Thai party at 9.6%. He rarely gets anywhere over 10% in these polls, but he did beat the current Prime Minister, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, at 9.2%. So I suppose if you were going to read anything into those poll numbers, you'd say that the People's Party, formerly the Move Forward Party, formerly before that the Future Forward Party, they were going to romp in any election held in the future. And certainly the conservative forces in Thai politics and Pheu Thai must be particularly worried if they do go to an election, if they're forced to have an election, that the outcome is going to be, well, another progressive party win. So what's the Prime Minister been doing? Well, she's certainly taking a charm offensive, and she's stepping into the shoes of a fruit vendor for a day. So important political matters. Looks like she's certainly trying to get into the social media whilst all this calamity continues around her. So the question remains today, will she try and hang on and just barge through this, or will she stand down and allow another MP from the Pheu Thai party to become Thailand's next Prime Minister? Extremely unlikely that they would try and dissolve Parliament, and I think even more unlikely, like less than 1%, would be the possibility of a military coup. Although I'm sure many of you disagree with me with that, I just don't see any triggers. There are plenty of constitutional methods of handling this situation at the moment, and they all need to be played out before anything else happens. That's the way I see it. Have those protests over the weekend moved the needle at all one way or another? I don't really think so, given the paucity of coverage in Thai media today. Certainly the focus really is still on the Prime Minister, exactly what she's doing, a lot of scrutiny on her moves, and we'll just have to follow that as the week progresses. I'll do my best to keep you informed, and otherwise, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for dropping in, and we'll see you next time.